Battle of the Brains, presented by Virginia 529, Central Virginia's ultimate high school academic quiz show. Today's match features Jamestown High School versus Cosby High School. Let the battle begin.
Hello and welcome to Battle of the Brains, Central Virginia's longest-running high school academic quiz show. I'm Cheryl Miller. Our competition welcomes teams from schools all across the Commonwealth of Virginia. Our academic athletes joining us today are the Eagles of Jamestown High School, coached by Ryan Gross and Alin Parham. Jamestown High School is located just outside of Williamsburg. More than 1,200 students attend the high school that takes its name from the nearby Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in North America. Also with us today, the Titans of Cosby High School, coached by Marsha Borden and Tony Polombello. The Cosby High School is in Midlothian within Chesterfield County. Designated as a National Blue Ribbon School, there are more than 2,000 students enrolled in grades 9 through 12 at this public school. Great to have all these students here with us today. Welcome to them. Our match today will consist of 3 toss-up rounds and a category round. Players will buzz in and wait for me to call on them before giving their answer. Any interrupted questions with an incorrect answer, though, will result in a point deduction. There is no deduction for an incorrect answer to a completed question. All right, students, welcome. Here is the first toss-up round. What medieval Asian ruler was born with the name Temujin? Hero. Genghis Khan is correct. And I'm going to ask everybody to really speak up when you give your answers, okay? In 1965, Canada adopted a new flag, discarding the Union Jack in favor of a depiction of what revered national symbol? Natalie.
The maple leaf.
Correct. For most substances, it decreases with temperature and increases with pressure. Give this property of matter, often expressed in grams per cubic centimeter. May.
Volume.
That is incorrect. Cosby?
Density?
Density is correct. The 1759 satire Candide is the best-known work of what French writer? And that would be Voltaire. Luray and Endless Caverns are just 2 of the Blue Ridge and Shenandoah Valley's caves. What type of rock underneath the region makes these structures possible? Aida.
Bedrock.
That is incorrect. Cosby? Natalie?
Limestone.
Limestone is correct. What is the term for the usually handheld wooden surface on which painters mix paint? Natalie?
Never mind. Yep. No.
All right, Jamestown? Aida?
Palette.
Palette is correct.
That's what I was looking for.
Who was the first U.S. president to appoint a sibling to a cabinet position? Natalie?
John F. Kennedy.
That is correct. John Kennedy appointed his brother Robert as Attorney General. You may need your pencil and paper for this one. How many planes of symmetry does a cube have? Hero?
6.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? That would be 9. What is the freezing point of water in the Kelvin scale? And that would be 273.15 to be specific. In the Broadway play Hamilton, what royal character famously sang the song, You'll Be Back? Natalie?
King George III.
That is correct. Zion Gate stands near the tomb of King David in what city? Hero?
Damascus?
That is incorrect. Jamestown? Jacob?
Jerusalem.
That is correct. All right, teams, watch the screen and listen carefully. Here's a Virginia-based video question from a member of the Battle of the Brains Brainy Bunch, and you must wait until the question is completed before buzzing in.
In 1932, during the Great Depression, Virginia Governor John Garland Pollard obtained federal funding to establish a state-sponsored art museum in Richmond. Named this museum the first state-sponsored art museum in the U.S.
Natalie?
The Virginia Museum of Fine Arts.
That is correct. The son of Pepin the Short, he presided over the Carolingian Renaissance. Name this king of the Franks crowned on Christmas Day 800. Ben?
Philip?
That is incorrect. Jamestown? Jacob?
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne is correct. In a game of pool, what is it called when one hits the cue ball into a pocket? Ben?
Scratch?
Scratch is correct. Who was the first African American to play baseball in the modern major leagues? Hero.
Jackie Robinson.
Correct, in 1947. What is the least number of votes a state can have in the Electoral College? Ben.
3.
3 is correct, a total of 534 electors in all. You may need your pencil and paper for this one. What is the solution to the inequality x minus 5 is greater than 14? Jacob.
X is greater than 19.
That is correct. And that buzzer is the end of our first toss-up round. A good job, teams. Up next, we'll meet today's players, and then they'll take on the category round here on Battle of the Brains.
Battle of the Brains is always available. Find full episodes on YouTube and follow along with Battle of the Brains on social media. Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores following the first toss-up round here on Battle of the Brains. Our team from Jamestown High School with 40 points. Our team from Cosby High School with 100 points. We'll get back to our match just ahead, but first we want to introduce you to today's players. Let's start with our team from Jamestown High School. Our first player up is Ellen Criddle, who is a senior. She teaches piano, so she must play very well. She loves exploring new places and enjoys watching Korean dramas in her free time. Next up is Aida Tanglo Aguas, who is a senior. She participates in theater, choir, and scholastic bowl, enjoys playing the guitar, reading, and crocheting. Our team captain is May Wood, who is a senior. She's a varsity soccer team member and student council representative. And wrapping up our team is Jacob Podolin, who is a junior who enjoys studying history, plays football and lacrosse at Jamestown. That's our team from Jamestown High School. Great to have you here with us. Now let's meet our team from Cosby High School. First up is Enzo Reginelli, who is a senior, enjoys Legos, singing, and plans to double major in theater and global studies. Our team captain is Natalie Fraustedt, who is a senior, enjoys being in the theater department, reading and going to museums, wants to attend the University of Mary Washington and double major in history and historic preservation. Our next player is Kiro Ibrahim, who is a senior. He's from Egypt. He enjoys soccer, tennis, and making music, wants to attend UVA Law to become a lawyer. And wrapping up our team from Cosby High School is Ben Sharp. Ben's a sophomore who enjoys golfing, watching hockey, and building things, wants to go to NC State and become a humanitarian contractor. That is our team from Cosby High School. Great to have both these teams here with us today, and now they'll play the category round. Each team will select one 10-question category from today's choices. If a team gets all of its questions correct in the allotted time, they'll receive a 20-point bonus. Teams, here are today's categories from which you may choose. They are show tunes, land and the sea, and pro or con. And we do note that in this round, only the captains can officially answer for the team, though they may confer with their teammates to try to come up with the correct answer. By the rules, the high score team gets first choice of category. And that team is our team from Cosby High School. So, Natalie, quickly talk it over with your teammates. Let me know what you'd like to play.
We'll do show tunes.
All right. I think we got a nerve there, huh? Given a show tune, name the musical. The first is My Favorite Things.
Sound of Music.
Correct. All That Jazz.
Chicago.
Correct. I Could Have Danced All Night.
My Fair Lady.
Correct. One More Day.
Les Mis.
Correct. Defying Gravity.
Wicked.
Correct. Don't Cry for Me, Argentina.
Oh my God. Aida. Aida?
That would be Evita.
Oh.
America.
Oh, West Side Story.
Correct. Meet the Plastics.
Mean Girls.
Correct. The Room Where It Happens.
Hamilton.
And finally, Memory.
Cats.
That is correct. Good job on that category. Somebody watches the theater. All right, Jamestown, land and sea, or pro or con. May, talk it over with your teammates.
Pro or con?
All right, identify the following which begin either with P-R-O or C-O-N, pro or con. The first is Greek god who gave fire to mankind. She said Prometheus, so we will take Prometheus. Former name of Istanbul.
Constantinople.
Correct. Only U.S. state capital that starts with P-R-O.
Providence.
Correct. Two or more circles that lie in the same plane and have the same center.
Concentric.
Correct. Karl Marx's name for the working class.
Proletarian. Proletariat.
Okay, proletarian. Judges giving a thumbs up on that. Only U.S. state capital that starts with C-O-N.
Concord.
That is correct. Another name for liberal politics.
Progressive.
Correct. Spanish name for conquerors like Cortez.
Conquistadors.
Correct. Biased or misleading information.
Pass.
That would be propaganda. And finally, a group of people assembled for religious worship.
Congregation.
That is correct, and right at the buzzer. Good job on that. Good job on the category round by both our teams. Coming up next, we've got another toss-up round here on Battle of the Brains.
Miss a week of Battle of the Brains? Or want to catch up on a full season of battle gameplay? Find full episodes on our YouTube channel. Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores following the category round here on Battle of the Brains. Our team from Jamestown High School with 85 points. Our team from Cosby High School, 145 points. And now it's back to Battle of the Brains and another toss-up round. And a reminder to our teams, you do lose points if you interrupt a question with an incorrect answer. The other team then gets a chance to answer. There's no conferring in the toss-up rounds. Here we go. Prior to the 18th century revolution in France, the French First Estate consisted exclusively of which citizens? Hero.
Clergy.
Correct. From 1831 to 1836, he was the ship's naturalist aboard the HMS Beagle. Ben.
Charles Darwin.
Correct. Jewelry is always a great gift for mom. Spell jewelry. Ellen.
Jewelry.
That is correct. Planets in our solar system are primarily named for gods found in Roman mythology. Jacob?
Nothing. Sorry.
I'll finish the question for Cosby. Which one is named after a Greek god? Hero.
Uranus.
That is correct. What was the name of Jack Sparrow's ship in Walt Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean? Jacob.
The Black Pearl.
Correct. Displaying the names of over 58,000 Americans who gave their lives in military service, what Washington, D.C. memorial was designed by Maya Lin? Jacob.
The Vietnam Memorial.
Correct. Currently, $1 equals about 90 of these. What is the name of the currency used in Russia? Jacob.
Ruble.
Ruble is correct. Teams, watch the screen, listen carefully. Here's another Virginia-based video question from a member of the Battle of the Brains Brainy Bunch, and you must wait until the question is completed before buzzing in.
The majority of laborers of the Central Pacific Railroad's portion of the Transcontinental Railroad were immigrants from which country?
China.
Correct. In 1873, Jacob Davis and Levi Strauss patented a process of attaching metal rivets to denim at the points of stress, thereby inventing what distinctive type of clothing? Natalie?
Jeans.
That is correct, blue jeans or Levi's. One of the events that helped start the Spanish-American War was the blowing up of the battleship USS Maine. In the harbor of what city did that event take place? Enzo?
New Orleans.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? That was in Havana, Cuba. In 1054, a major split occurred in the Christian church. The Western Europe churches, under the authority of the Pope in Rome, separated from the Byzantine Empire under the authority of the Patriarch of what city? Enzo?
Constantinople.
Correct. Sharpsburg is another name for what U.S. Civil War battle? Ben?
Gettysburg.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? Aida?
Vicksburg.
It was Antietam. In the Spanish Civil War of the late 1930s, Generalissimo Francisco Franco received direct aid from Germany and Italy, and his opponents received the support of what Eastern European dictator? Jacob?
Stalin.
Joseph Stalin is correct. In botany, what is a leaf pore called? That would be the stoma. Pope Francis belongs to what Catholic order, which is alternatively known as the Society of Jesus, and was founded in Aida. That is correct, founded in 1540 by Ignatius Loyola. Which United Kingdom holiday is usually celebrated on December 26th? Natalie.
Boxing Day?
That is correct. A standard basketball hoop is 18 inches in diameter and how many feet high? Ben.
10.
10 is correct. An ophthalmologist is an eye doctor certified to perform surgery. Spell ophthalmologist. Enzo.
OPTHMOLOGIST.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? Ellen?
OPTHOMOLOGIST.
It's a tough one. It's OPHTHALMOLOGIST, ophthalmologist. What Chinese philosopher who lived around 500 BC propounded, Enzo?
Confucius.
Correct, the golden rule. And that buzzer means one more toss-up round just ahead and will double the point value. Stay tuned to see which of our teams is today's winner and continues on here on Battle of the Brains.
Love Battle of the Brains? Ready for your high school team to play next season? Get in touch. Go to battleofthebrains.net to learn more. Welcome back to Battle of the Brains.
Here are the scores as we head now into the final round here on Battle of the Brains. Our Jamestown High School team with 135 points, our Cosby High School team with 235 points. But for this final toss-up round, the point score for a correct answer is now doubled. But so is the penalty for an incorrect answer given before I finish the question. There is no deduction for an incorrect answer to a completed question. Good luck, teams. This is our final toss-up round. Who is the current Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court? Jacob.
John Roberts.
Correct. Which member of the Bush political family served as the governor of Florida? Natalie.
George W. Bush.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? Jacob?
George H.W. Bush.
It was actually their brother, Jeb Bush. What 58-mile-long strait separates the United States from Russia? Jacob?
The Bering Strait.
Correct. This man became president in 1857 and still held that position when he died in 1872. Cosby?
Lincoln.
I will finish the question for Jamestown. That is incorrect. Though his rule was interrupted by the installation of Maximilian, name this liberal reformer and Mexican national hero. Jacob.
Santa Anna.
It was Benito Juarez. In Greek mythology, who was the very jealous wife of Zeus? Hero.
Hera.
Correct. Name the only singular thing mentioned in the famous song, The 12 Days of Christmas. Jacob.
One golden ring.
That is incorrect. Cosby. Natalie.
A parchment and pear tree.
That is correct. This force was defeated at Gravelines after being attacked by the fire ships of Sir Francis Drake. Name this fleet that was launched to conquer England. Jacob.
Spanish Armada.
Correct. Actors James McAvoy and Patrick Stewart have both portrayed which Marvel Comics character? Enzo.
Beast. The Beast.
That is incorrect. Jamestown. May?
Professor X.
That is correct. Professor Xavier. East Indian musician and composer Ravi Shankar, who stimulated Western interest in Hindustani music, was a noted virtuoso player of what instrument? Aida.
Organ.
That is incorrect. Cosby? Kira?
The harp.
It was the sitar. In nautical terminology, what is the name of the right side of the boat facing forward? And Ben?
Starboard.
Correct. What is the name of the botanical art, the aim of which is to grow miniature trees or shrubs in shallow pots? Aida?
Bonsai.
Correct, by careful pruning. The 2018 movie Free Solo documents Alex Honnold's attempt to climb what iconic rock formation in Yosemite National Park? Ellen?
Half Dome.
That is incorrect. Cosby? Ben?
Mount Rushmore.
It's actually El Capitan. In July of 2020, philanthropist Mackenzie Scott, the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, gave a $30 million gift to what historically black college located on the Virginia Peninsula? Hero.
Norfolk State.
That is incorrect. Jamestown? Jacob?
Hampton.
Hampton University is correct. In golf, which club is generally used when on the green? Jacob.
The putter.
Correct. What is the famous temple in Athens built atop the Acropolis that is dedicated to that city's patron goddess, Athena? Natalie.
Temple of Athena.
That is incorrect. Jamestown. Jacob.
The Parthenon.
Repeat for me. Say again.
Parthenon.
Parthenon is correct. In electronics, it is the term for the amplification factor of a circuit expressed as output divided by input. It can also mean to make a profit. What is this four-letter word that is also associated with a weight increase? Ben.
Gain.
Gain is correct. J.D. Salinger's only published novel is what first-person account of adolescent alienation? Natalie.
The Catcher in the Rye.
Correct. Ratified in 1913, which amendment to the U.S. Constitution allowed for direct election of senators? Aida.
13th Amendment.
That is incorrect. Cosby? Natalie?
The 18th Amendment.
It was the 17th Amendment. And that buzzer is the end of our game. While our judges double-check the final score, here's a reminder of how to stay connected with Battle of the Brains.
Stay up to date with Battle of the Brains. Follow along as your favorite teams advance this season. Visit battleofthebrains.net to learn more. And follow the show on social at Battle of the Brains. As we continue round one in this current season of Battle of the Brains, join us next week as we welcome LC Bird High School versus Riverbend High School.
Now here's the final score for today's match, determining which team will continue on in this season's competition here on Battle of the Brains. Our team from Jamestown High School ends the match with 295 points. A great job today by Ellen, Aida, May, and Jacob. Our winners today with a final score of 315 points. Our team from Cosby High School, great job today by Enzo, Natalie, Kiro, and Ben. We will see you as we continue on in the next round. I'm Cheryl Miller. Thank you so much for playing along and watching here on Battle of the Brains, and we'll see you back here next week. Great match game.
Game over. Thank you for watching Battle of the Brains, presented by Virginia 529.